MrsCraftyChick back with another Build Your Wardrobe tutorial. Alright, so we are in week 4 and we are onto the pencil skirt. Alright, and the lady that is in charge of this week's tutorial is Rikaya Davis. I hope I said that right. Her website is www.RedPantsDesign.com. She also has a blog up under that you can find all of her information. And on Monday she showed you guys a fabulous version of a mixed print pencil skirt. Alright, so what I'm here to do is basically, of course, show you how to make your own. Alright, so far we've made 4 items, or 3 items. Our blazer, the rest of the tutorial will be coming. The blazer you can see here, it is a work in progress, and I have filmed more, so I'm going to release a part 2. Alright, and the final one will be part 3. But you can see what we've got done here. But before I release that one, I am going to go ahead and get this one out to you guys. Alright, so this is the pencil skirt tutorial, and what you're going to need for this particular tutorial is, of course, some pins. Alright, a 7-inch zipper, and I got mine in black because that's what the color of my fabric. Alright, and the pattern that you're going to need is B5566. It's a butterick pattern. Alright, you're going to also need some interfacing. And what I decided to do for this particular tutorial, because the skirt is more of a, it has different panels to it, I decided to mix my fabrics. Alright, so I am doing a faux leather, and I'm mixing it with some garbardine. I can never say that word right. Alright, but that's what I'm mixing it with. So let's go over the pattern pieces that you'll actually need for this tutorial. Alright, you're going to need piece 11, piece 10, piece 9, piece 7, and piece 8. Now piece 8 is the sides, and so I'll be using my garbine fabric for the sides. Alright, and then the other pieces, which are piece 9 and piece 7, those are the inside pieces. Well, one is the back and one is the front, but you cut it on the fold. Alright, and so I'm going to be using my leather pieces for that. Alright, I'm going to be cutting that on my leather. What you need to do now is go ahead and cut out all your pattern pieces. Decide what fabric you're going to be using and cut out all of your pattern pieces on your fabric, and then we'll be back. Oh, also don't forget to cut out your interfacing pieces, because there are a few pieces, and those pieces are 11 and 10 that need interfacing. So make sure when you're reading you look on your pieces and it'll tell you whether you need to cut fabric or whether you need to cut interfacing or whether you need to cut both. Alright, in these cases you'll need to cut fabric and interfacing for these 2 pieces. Alright, go ahead and get that done for me, and let's come back and we'll get started with getting this done. This should be a really easy tutorial, really easy sew along, so let's get this done. Alright guys, the first thing that we're going to do is begin with our piece number 7, and that is your front piece. Alright, and this is how it looks. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead around the rim, and you want to do a stay stitch, and this is just to keep it from stretching. So 1/2 front. What you want to do is go over 1/2 from your raw edge, and you're just going to be working in this inner curve. Start all the way at the top and go all the way down to about right here, and go ahead and stitch you in a stay stitch on both sides, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put in that stay stitch, and again, I just said you do that 1/2 inch from the raw edge and take it all the way around the curve and get the curve in so that it doesn't flex. Alright, we have one side done, and that's how it looks, and then we're going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright guys, now we have stay stitched our piece 7, and now what we're going to do is grab our piece 8, and it looks very similar to this. Alright, and I use cloth for mine, and or garbine for mine, and on this I use leather. So we're going to put these together. So what you want to do is pin these. You have 2 of these, 2 piece 8s, and you're just going to pin them right sides together. Alright, so go ahead and get that pinned up. We'll come back and compare and see what yours looks like, and then what we're going to do to pin these together is you're going to find your curved side, All right, and this is my curved side, and then this is my straight side. And the curved side is the side that you're going to match up your notches with and pin it on the right side. All right, so what you're going to do is start on the top and just line it up. And pin it, and you're going to go ahead and flex it. You're really going to have to ease it in, but you want to go ahead and pin it going all the way down. All right guys, we have pinned everything up. This is our piece 7 and our piece 8, or both of our piece 8s. Now you're going to go ahead and just sew a 5/8 inch seam going on both sides, and make sure when you finish you clip anywhere where it's pulling at, so that you don't have to worry about it bunching anywhere, and so it'll lay nice and flat. So go ahead and take this to the sewing machine and sew 5/8 inch seam going all the way down. We are ready to go ahead and sew in that 5/8 inch seam, and you just want to make sure you take your time, remove your pins as you go, and get a nice even stitch. Guys, we have everything sewn down like you can see, and what I'm going to do now is take it back to the ironing board, and now what I'm going to do is take it back to the sewing table and clip my end so that it lays nice and flat, and then we'll move on to the next part. Alright guys, so I have both my piece 7 and my piece 8 together, and I've sewn them down. So now what I'm going to want to go ahead and do is just clip my corners so that I can make sure that everything lays nice and flat. So in the area where you have a little bit of a curve, you just want to clip down, not all the way down to the not all the way down to your seam, but probably about that much. All right. All right, and I got that clipped, and what I'm going to do is just press it out and once I take it to the sewing machine, but first I'm going to go ahead and do that other side. Alright, I have it laid down, I have cut or clipped it on both sides, and what I'm going to do now is take it to the ironing board and go ahead and press both sides down. Go ahead and do that to yours, and then we'll come back and put on the back piece. Alright, we'll be back. Alright guys, so we have finished pressing out our front piece, and it's almost ready to go. Now the only thing that we have left to do regarding this piece is top stitch it. Alright, so they tell you to go ahead and do a top stitch, starting at the top and going all the way around close to the seam. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, just to make sure that that lays flat. Top stitch that going all the way down the seam, and then we'll come back. Right, to do that top stitching, what you're going to do is place your seam on the 1/4, or either you can place the seam that you already created on the edge of the opening of your foot. So what I want to do is place your seam on the edge of the clear part, and that's usually about 1/4, and then just sew that going all the way down to top stitch it. Alright, I know all sewing machines don't have a 1/4, mine doesn't. And you just want to sew going all the way around, and you're just top stitching. So you're sewing on the top of your well, mine is leather, but on the top of your contrast fabric, not the side fabric, the inside fabric. Alright, honey buns, so we got our top piece all top stitched and ready to go. So we're going to take that and move that to the side. Alright, now what you're going to do is grab your piece 9s, and you should have 2 of those because the zipper goes in the middle. Alright, and what you're going to do is work your seam. Do the same thing that you did on your top piece, alright, to do a stay stitch. Find your inner corner, start from the top, and do a stay stitch going all the way to the outside of that corner. Alright, so what you're doing is reinforcing your corners on this piece. So what you want to do again is start from the top. So 1.5 inches from the edge, and you should have a mark on your sewing machine for that. And then just take you a stay stitch and go all the way down till about right at the end of the curve, or coming out of the curve. Do that on both pieces. After you've done that on both pieces, then you want to take your 2 other pieces of the piece 8. And these are for the back pieces, but these are considered side pieces. Alright, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to pretty much repeat what you did on the front with the back. Alright, you're going to go ahead and pin it up like we did on the front piece, and you're going to go ahead and sew a 5/8 inch seam. So what you need to do first is go ahead and do a stay stitch from the top of the corner going all the way till the outside of the until the outside of the curve. Do that on both sides. Then once you get that nice and stitched up, take your 2 side pieces, put them right sides together, and so that means that it would go on the inner curve just like this, same way we did our front piece. Alright, and then you're just going to pin it up right sides together and then stitch that 5/8. Now I'm not going to show you how to do that on the sewing machine because we just did it on the first piece. So go ahead and repeat those steps and then come back and show me what yours look like. Alright? Alright guys, so I have finished my 2 back pieces, and here they are. Well, not finished, but for the most part we are finished. Alright, so what you're going to do now is go ahead and top stitch your seam just like you did the front. Again, I won't show you this step, be a waste of time because I just showed you on the last one, but go ahead and do a top stitch. Remember, put your seam on the 1/4 mark and then go all the way down, or all the way across and all the way down, alright, to make that top stitch. Let's go ahead and do that. And then once we finish doing that top stitch in the same way that we did our front top stitch, you want to put your right sides together and line them up and pin them, and then you want to go ahead and sew and do a seam from your circle that you created, which is your marking that was on your pattern, going all the way down 5/8 of an inch. You want to leave above the circle open, alright, but from the circle going all the way down, match up everything and do a 5/8 inch seam going all the way down. Alright, the top part is going to be left open for your zipper. So what we should have when we come back to the table is a top stitch going all the way down like we did the front. Put your seam on 1/4 of an inch, the 1/4 marker on your sewing machine, and then sew going all the way down close to the seam, and then turn your right sides together and find your circle that you created from your pattern piece, and then just go ahead and sew a 5/8 inch seam going all the way down. Don't have to show you that part. That should be fairly easy, but we will compare when we come back to see how it went. Alright, so I have my back stitched up. Alright, and the next thing that we're going to do, and I did leave my top open for my zipper. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and attach our front. And this is very simple. All you want to do is go ahead and line up your front and back pieces right sides together like I have here. Alright, and then you want to stitch 5/8 inch of a seam. Of course, make sure you go ahead and pin. Alright, and then once you finish pinning, you want to stitch 5/8 of an inch going all the way from top to bottom on both sides. Alright, let's get that done. We're going to go ahead and stitch down our front to our back, and as you can see here, I went ahead and pinned it going all the way down, and I went ahead and made sure that I matched up where my contrasting fabric and my regular fabric meet at to make that seam, and I went ahead and matched it up on the end just so it didn't look crazy on my side and everything matched up okay. Alright, so what you're going to go ahead and do is just sew a 5/8 inch seam, and you want to go all the way down the side, back stitching at the top and the back and the bottom. All right, things are coming together. It looks like it's almost done. The only thing we really have left to do is put our facing in at the top, put our zipper in, and do our hem. All right, so what we're going to do is go ahead and do our zipper. Now, if I had read this ahead of time, then I would have went ahead and did it this way. But what you want to do now is go ahead and turn your skirt on the outside, inside out. Make sure that the wrong side is facing out. All right, and then you're going to turn it over to the back where your zipper should go. And you're going to go ahead and pin your zipper together, or pin where your zipper is supposed to go together, that part that you left open. Pin that together, and you're going to run a basting stitch on the 5/8 inch going all the way down to the dot. All right, or to the line to where you stopped your first seam at. Alright, so you want to go all the way down 5/8 of an inch until where your seam actually stops at. Alright, and then we're going to come back and put that zipper in. Alright, so I have my skirt base down on the top portion where we're going to put our zipper, and I went ahead and ironed it out so that it would lay nice and flat. Alright, and that just makes for a better zipper placement. And so now I'm going to grab my 7/8 inch zipper that I have here. Alright, and I did get an invisible zipper, and now we're going to go ahead and place that zipper. So me go open it up. Alright, and for some reason my zipper's all frumpy, so I'm going to take it to the iron real quick and go ahead and iron that down. Be right back. Alright, so my zipper's not frumpy anymore. I went ahead and ironed it down as best as I could. Alright, so once you get your zipper opened up, what you're going to do is put your zipper at the very top, or line up the teeth at the top of the zipper at the very top of your garment. Alright, and then you're going to place the zipper at the end where it falls. Now what you want to go ahead and do is take one side and pin it down. You want to make sure that those teeth fall on top of your seam. Alright, that is where your teeth should fall, on top of that seam. And then you want to do a basting stitch in the middle of the zipper going all the way down. I'm going to show you how to do that on the sewing machine, but first let's go ahead and pin that zipper down. Alright, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so I have my zipper all pinned in. I laid it face down like I told you guys to do, and I lined the top of my zipper up with the top of my skirt, and then I also lined my zipper teeth going all the way down along my seam line. Alright, and I pinned that. Now what you're going to do is fold back your skirt like so. Alright, so that it is free from sewing it down. Alright, and then you're going to put it on the sewing machine in the middle of the zipper. Alright, now what you want to do is, I already have my machine still on basting stitch from doing my, from closing off my zipper, or from closing off my garment at the top. I'm going to go ahead and use the basting stitch. I have mine on 5 and 4, and that's a long basting stitch for mine. So you want to pick whatever your long stitch is. Alright, and then we're just going to sew a basting stitch from the top of the zipper all the way down to the bottom and stop at the bottom. Just a basting stitch, not a regular stitch. Alright, and when you finish, that's how your zipper should be basted down. And what that basically does is put it down so that when you sew it down to your clothes, or actually sew it down permanently, you don't have to worry about it moving. Alright, so we're going to move on to our second part. Alright, so our next step, once we get our zipper based down, is to go ahead and zip our zipper all the way up. Alright, and then what you're going to do is lay your skirt flat. Alright, and you're actually going to put on your zipper foot. I have my zipper foot here, and this is similar to how yours should look. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and put our zipper foot on. And what the directions instructed us to do was stitch through all the thickness, through all this, the thickness, through all the thickness. We're going to sew 1/4 from the zipper teeth. Alright, so it's going to be a scant 1/4 from the zipper teeth and then across the bottom of the zipper to keep it in place. Alright, so go ahead and put your zipper teeth. Right, and when you do this, you're going to go ahead and sew a basting stitch going all the way down first before you sew it down permanently. Alright, so when you do it, keep it on your basting stitch. I have not moved mine, and you want to go ahead and start sewing from the top. Just want to make sure everything is laying flat. Make sure you have the back part of your dress out of the way, or your skirt out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and base 1/4 from the zipper foot. So I just went ahead and put my zipper foot as close to my zipper teeth as I could, and I'm just going to stitch going all the way down. The purpose of the basting stitch is that you can pull it out later after you finish. So what you're going to do now is turn it on the outside. Alright, and you can kind of see your guide from where you're going to be sewing. Alright, so you're going to be sewing on top of your basting stitch, starting at the very top and going all the way down on the side that you just got through sewing on top of your basting stitch. Then you're going to come on the other side and go 1/4 from the seam and do the exact same thing. Your zipper should stay in the exact same place it is because that's why you based it down to begin with. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and find our marking. And we're going to do it on a regular stitch. Alright guys, so what happened was during the process of me filming my zipper, it cut off. Alright, but I basically want to tell you what I did. Alright, you saw the part where I actually laid down the zipper on the right side and I did a basting stitch going down the middle. Alright, and I did that while I had it folded back. Alright, and I did go ahead and open up my zipper to be able to do that. Alright, and then once I put my basting stitch in, then I went on the other side. Then I flipped it on the other side because now the zipper was completely in place. Alright, and then I just went down and did my stitch going down and then my stitch on the other side on top of the basting stitch. I did go ahead and take out my basting stitches after. Alright, and this is the result of my zipper. Alright, so I have my zipper in. Now it is time to close this bad boy and add our facing, and we are done. We are done after this. Alright guys, so we're looking at our piece our piece 10 and our piece 11, alright? And so what you want to do on this piece, this is your facing piece. This is the next piece that we're working with. I have already pinned down one side, matching all of my notches, and you're going to do the same thing with the other side. Alright, if you look on this piece, you have a notch right here, as well as a notch on this side. You're going to go ahead and lay it right sides together, like you did the other side, and pin it. Alright, and then we're going to pin one more time. Alright, now when we get that done, we're going to go ahead and sew 5/8 of an inch on both sides, and we're going to turn it out once we get it sewn, and you want to finish your long unnotched side. Okay, so this will be along this side. You want to go ahead and do a zigzag stitch going all the way down, or if you have a serger, you can do that. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch a 5/8 inch to stitch these together. Alright, once we get that done, we'll come back and put this on our skirt. Alright guys, so I got my piece 10 and my piece 11 stitched down, stitched together, and I did finish my edge, and all I did was just ran a zigzag stitch going all the way across that. You can see that. Alright, so what we're going to do now is attach this to our skirt. And then for the most part, we are almost done besides hemming our skirt. Alright. I want to show you what I've done so far. I have finished my facing. I have done an understitch, and you can see how far I did it from the edge. And like I told you, you want to go ahead and sew as close to the edge as you can, but make sure that you pull your seam allowance going up. Alright, so that's what I did, and then I just went all the way down stitching. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is, they tell you to do the slip stitch. What I like to do is pin my facing down so that I don't have to fight with it or worry about it. Make sure before you do any of that, you go ahead and clip away all of your threads so that you don't have those sticking out. And make sure you're doing that along the way anyway to get those out of the way. Alright, and once you get those cut away, you're going to fold your facing in to the inside. And go ahead and pin to keep it in place. Alright, and then you're going to take your needle, and the way you do a slip stitch is you grab a little bit from the bottom as well as the top to get your stitch. So you want to grab a little bit from the bottom, and then you want to come up to the top and grab some of it and pull. Alright, and then you're going to do the same thing. Make sure you got that folded up. Come back, take a little bit from the bottom, take some from the top, and pull to get that laid down nice and flat. Alright, and then pull it up so you can see the bottom again. Take a little bit from the bottom and then come up to the top and come back through. Alright, you're going to do that all the way to the edge so that you don't have to worry about your facing coming up. Ow. Alright, and once you finish this side, you're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side and tack and slip stitch it down on the side and keep it out of the way of the zipper like I've done, so that it does not interfere with the closing of your zipper. Alright, once you get that down, you just want to go ahead and tie a knot in it so it doesn't go anywhere. Alright, and then go to the other side and do the same thing. Alright, once you finish that, go ahead and cut away all of your pieces, or cut away all of your seam allowances. Alright, and one other thing that you want to go ahead and do is tack down your facing to your seams. So take the same needle that you had, and you want to just find your seam and find your facing seam and just run a few little small stitches to tack it down. Alright, doesn't have to be a slip stitch. They just want you to tack it so that it doesn't come up. And once you get that tacked, be sure to tie a knot in it so it doesn't go anywhere, and you want to do that to all of your seams. Alright, so go through, tack your other end in, which I haven't done mine yet, but I will. All right, and then I've already done one side and also done my seam. You want to tag that in and make sure that your facing doesn't go anywhere. All right, and then what you want to do last guys, this is it. This was a very quick video, very easy tutorial, which I think after doing this blazer we need a little bit of easy. All right, they tell you on the directions to turn 1 1/4 up, but what I would rather do on this one is do a rolled hem. All right, so that's what we're gonna do. All right, and to do a rolled hem, all you're gonna do is turn it in 1/4 of an inch, and then another 1/4 of an inch. All right, and then we're gonna stitch on that outside line. All right, so we're going to take this to the sewing machine. We're going to roll it under. All right, and then we're going to stitch on the outside, on the line furthest in. All right, so not on this outside line, we're going to stitch on that outside line. So go ahead and roll it under 1/4, and what you may want to do is go ahead and iron it in. I'm not going to do that because I have leather, all right, and I don't want to burn my leather, but I am going to go ahead and roll it in. All right, 1/4 of an inch, and then another 1/4 of an inch. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and run a seam going all the way across. All right, do that and come back and show me what you got, and then we will be done, all except for doing your hook and eye closure. All right, so I have finished my hem, and that's how it's looked. All right, I have tacked down all my facing to the inside as well as against the teeth. All right, and so one thing I want to tell you this is that I'm done here. All right, because they tell you to add a hook eye, but the zipper actually comes all the way up if you place it correctly. So there's really no need for a hook and eye. All right, so if you want to add your hook and eye, you can. These are the hook eyes that I normally use. Oops. These are the hook eyes that I normally use, if you can see them. All right, there we are. And they actually come in 2 pieces, but I'm not going to use that today because mine zips all the way up to the top. All right, guys, so we are done. We are done with our skirt. You want to go ahead and press your hem down once you finish. And I said earlier that you fold up 1/4 and then another 1/4. I was completely crazy. It's actually 5/8 and then another 5/8. All right, and I was doing it and looking at it and saying the wrong numbers. All right, so it's 5/8 roll under one time and then another 5/8 roll under, and then I sew on the outer or the innermost side of the rolled hem. All right, so that you have a little gap in between it. All right, and I actually like that. So go ahead and iron down your hem and you are good to go, guys. This is the number 4 tutorial that has been put up. I hope you all enjoy it. I will be finishing my blazer this weekend and showing you guys that, as well as uploading the rest of the videos this weekend for you guys. I am almost done with it. All I have left to do is put in my lining, and then I can wear it with my super cute dress skirt. All right, so don't forget to follow MrsCraftyChick, Essentials by A. Don't forget to follow Erica Bunker. Don't forget to also follow RedPantsDesign, That Black Chick, as well as Rally D Fashion. Those are all of the people that are a part of this Build Your Wardrobe series, guys. All right, and this week, Red Pants Designs is the one that is going to be leading this week. Like I said, on Monday you saw a really cute version, and all this week she's been giving you really cute versions of doing a pencil skirt. This is my version of the pencil skirt, and I really hope that you make your own and show me. If you make your own, don't forget to tag MrsCraftyChick and Build Your Wardrobe so that I can see them, guys, and repost them on Friday. That's when we have our day. All right, it's late. I'm gonna go ahead and get this video up for you guys hopefully tonight, which is Wednesday, and this is now I'm supposed to have it out hopefully tonight. If not, it'll be first thing in the morning. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon.